Scott Garrett rejected 13-10, not being approved for chairman of the Export-Import Bank. You were against him. Why? But also, what's next?
I think, first off, we need a functioning XM Bank. In order to do that, we need a quorum. So everybody understands the urgency of actually getting these nominees moved through the banking committee. What we don't need is we don't need somebody who's going to be a saboteur at the bank. This bank, I'm all interested in how we can reform the bank, how we can make the bank more responsive, how we can get the bank to do more with small lending. But the problem is that with Mr. Garrett, he refused to commit to changing his mind on whether there should be an XM Bank. And it makes absolutely no sense for us to put someone in that position who does not believe in the mission of the organization.
So there were 4 other nominees that went through the committee for the board, as well as the Inspector General. So I guess moving forward, Senator Pat Toomey as well as Senator Shelby have said that they will do everything they can to make sure that they do not get a vote on the floor, preventing quorum. So my question is, do you have assurances that Leader McConnell or that the White House will move the board members forward so that the bank can meet quorum?
I don't. And one of the things we've been trying to talk to the White House, because I think they believed up until, maybe last week that Garrett could move through with a positive vote. That didn't happen today. In fact, 2 people voted no in the majority party. We know that there are more no votes for Garrett on the Senate floor. And so what we need to do now is spend some time and actually move a couple nominees to get a quorum so that we can get the bank up and functioning. And so my request to the White House is to encourage Leader McConnell to actually move a couple of these nominees. The XM Bank is such a critical piece of trade infrastructure. We've got jobs that are on the line. We've lost jobs to other countries, and we can't continue to hemorrhage jobs, and we can't continue to hemorrhage manufacturing opportunities.
You've raised this issue with President Trump himself. Just within the last half hour, Mark Short, the White House Legislative Affairs Director, putting out a statement saying that he's, quote unquote, very disappointed with what has happened. Do you think President Trump is going to renominate a new person to chair the XM Bank?
We certainly are going to encourage him to do that. But in the meantime, I think what's critical is that we move a couple of these nominees and actually get a quorum on the bank. And then we'll sort out what those reforms can look like. One of the challenges that we have is we're immediately in next year going into reauthorization discussions. We won't have a bank president who will help us go through that. And so we need to get someone there who is in charge of the bank. But in the meantime, what we need to do is we need to get a quorum on the bank board so we can move these credits.
Last question for you. Big day on tax reform. You were in Fargo yesterday and had a town hall talking to constituents about tax reform. You're a centrist Democrat. How are you voting on this bill?
Oh, I'm going to vote no. I'm really concerned about the embedded benefits that whether it's for real estate or whether it's for people who own private jets. And we've run numbers in terms of if we were going to take the amount of money that we're spending on a tax cut for individuals and actually give it to the middle class, it would be very dramatic in terms of the increase of their tax benefits. And so this clearly is heavily weighted towards the top 1%. I think we could have done corporate tax reform. We're now hearing that some of the provisions are not going to be adequate to stop outsourcing jobs and, in fact, may drive the movement overseas. And so it's just not a package that has been well thought out, in my opinion.